DC Universe Presents number 18, written by Joe Keatinge, art by Federico Dell'Accio. So, this is Starfire focused. It is this very brief one, honestly. And the only thing you really need to know going into it is that Starfire was captured and enslaved as a child. And this just kind of deals with that, where we open up on this building in the middle of a space station, and apparently the space station is, as we find out later, multiple times the size of Earth. And we see a whole bunch of aliens going flying through windows. And we see inside is Starfire wearing some like knight's armor. And she's got one of the aliens by the jaw. And a young girl next to her. And the girl's name is Denica. And Starfire's like, okay, I've killed the rest of them. I'm going to kill you as well. I was going to kill you as well, but do you understand why you're alive now? And the guy's like, yo, I'm not going to do whatever you want me to do. And he gets punched and basically yells at her saying, like, you're never going to find your freedom. You're going to live enslaved no matter what. Nothing you can do can change that. And Starfire takes out a sword and just stabs the guy through the head. And Denica's like, that seemed like it wasn't necessary. And Starfire's like, they're never going to change. They're never going to learn. You got to figure that out now, Denica. And we see what happened was Starfire was fighting these aliens. Turns out they are the same aliens that enslaved her as a child. She allowed herself to be enslaved again. And she just kind of kept her cool, didn't say anything until she was on their main ship flying through deep space. And then she escaped and is now going to just straight up murder everyone. We then meet Denica's brother, uncle, father, hard to say. His name is Dasim, and he does not like Starfire because she keeps on, disturbing the peace and making it so that these guys are going to bring more trouble to their little village they've built up in this spaceship. And Starfire's like, hey, I'm going to free you guys. Like, that's the end of this. I'm going to make sure you guys are free. And Dasim's like, no, you're just going to make things worse. Stop trying to help. And so at that point, Starfire goes in and goes to talk to the local elders or whatever there is. Apparently, Dasim has been their number one guy, in the best way to describe it. He's been the guy who's, been the person who defends them from other tribes nearby and whatnot. Not the people that has enslaved them into this ship, but like, this place is bigger than Earth multiple times over. There's a bunch of different tribes and whatnot. And Starfire basically came in and said, I'm going to free all you guys, and I'm going to use violence to do it, which Dasim has never been willing to do. So then Dasim went and talked to the council at some point in the middle and said, like, hey, Starfire, she's bringing a lot of grief down on us. Like, she needs to go. And they're like, okay, look, if you want to do it, by all means, you can do it. But we think she should stay. And at that point, Dasim's like, no, I have to protect our tribe. So we see Starfire sitting on a hill looking down at the village. Dasim comes up with a sword. And he's like, the elders have decided you need to leave. And Starfire's like, I think you may have decided that because the elders told me it's you. Like, do you really think they don't tell me when you go crazy like this? And so Starfire brings her own sword up to Dasim's neck. And she's basically like, look, I'm going to protect your people because that's something you failed to do. You've let these enslavers just do whatever they want. That's not good enough. I'm going to actually protect your people, and I'm going to use violence to do it. And so she walks away. Dasim looks like he understands, but then he launches a surprise attack on Starfire and basically says, like, you've made our lives so much worse. And it sounds like he's just talking about himself, like, oh, everything was fine before you showed up. And Starfire's just like, hey, I'm here to offer freedom. And he just says, no, you're here for death. That's what all it is. But then Starfire chops off his hands and says, okay, I'm letting you live, but you need to promise you're going to get out of my way. Got it? And he's just like, I'm kind of in shock right now. So at least some time passes. The slavers arrive in their giant helicopter ship things, whatever, and they're looking for Starfire. And Starfire has her powers. Like, she's been able to use it the whole time. She just chose not to out of respect for this village's sword using ways. So she just flies up to the ship and immediately starts blasting and kills everybody on board. And now that the ship is completely open and able to be stolen, basically she comes down and is like, hey, who wants to go? I'm ready to take you all out. Let's go. We can hop on the ship. We can fly away. And she glares at Decim, but Decim's like, I didn't call him. I'm not the one who told them you were here. And Denica steps forward and is just like, I did. I told them you were here. You cut off my relative's hands. You cut off Decim's hands. You scare me. You scare everyone here. You're not making things better. Just please don't cut off my arms. And Starfire's like, oh, I might have gone a bit far on the whole violence thing. Okay, I can take anybody who wants to go with me, anybody at all. And they're just like, no, get out of here. We can save ourselves. We don't need you. And she offers one last time to Denica, but Denica's like, no, get out of here. I don't want to see you anymore. So Starfire flies away on her own. One of the slavers realizes this and says, hey, Starfire got out. Boss, is this cool? Are you all right with this? And he's like, oh, no, I'm not all right with this, but we will be sure to get her back. And we see that the man on the other side of the line saying, I'm building an army, wartime is upon us, is Fang Fang, who, if you don't know, was the dude from the last issue with Arsenal. Apparently now he's a space alien guy, and he has a hostage in the form of the dude from the last issue. I didn't expect these two to be linked up at all. And then in the last page, we just suddenly get the, like, no, Fang Fang is the one who is capturing Starfire for real. And he's saying war is upon us. I don't know if this is going to come up anywhere. Doesn't seem like it will. But all in all, it's an okay little story. It's a cool thing of, if you use violence on the level of your enemies, then people are going to view you the same as the enemies. And I like that as a moral, but there is a little bit of a moral high ground in Starfire's of offering freedom rather than being enslaved. So it falls a little flat there. Overall, art's fine, writing is okay, not standout, a little bit of weirdness sometimes, but I gotta give it I'll give it a 6. It feels like a nice solid 6. It's not awful by any means, but I could easily have skipped over this and I would not feel like I was missing any little bit of the universe. I don't think this is ever going to come back, and I am hopeful that I'll eat my words there, but yeah, I doubt it.